Welcome to the Rise Up Show. This is episode 49, and today's episode I'm hosting and proud to host a 23 years old. He's a Russian guy that lives in Germany, and his English is not his native language. He inspiring people all around the world with his Facebook Live and webinars, and he did a dramatic change in his life, and from being affiliate marketer to a business coach that helps people to live their life to the fullest, enjoy it, and being happy while they do it, while they're creating their online business. So welcome to the show, Robert. Hey, Robert, how are you today?
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for the introduction, man. I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing really good today. I just have been, on a game of my little brother. He's playing ice hockey, and I haven't, watched him many times to play, right? Because he's been playing for 4 years, and this is the second time that I've seen him play. And it was a good game. It was a close game. We unfortunately lost it, but I was still, very proud, to be a big brother, because he truly is an inspiration to me as well. So I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Nice. I'm doing fine, man. So tell us the short version on who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you kind of already touched a little bit about myself, I'm 23 years old, right? I was originally born in Russia. So, Russian is my first language, right? Which I still speak with my parents. And then when I was 3 years old, we moved over to Germany, right? And that's probably the best decision that my parents would have, could have made. Because obviously, Germany is a good country to live in. And, it's not comparable to Russia at all. So, since I was 3 years old, we, have been living in Germany now, where is, my place where I live. And, who I am now is, as you already touched, right, I've been, doing online marketing for the past 2.5 years. And first of all, I was just, just doing affiliate marketing here and there, and now transitioning more into becoming the coach, the mentor for other people, right? And really, really inspiring other people to, live a better life in freedom, happiness, and joy. So this is kind of who Robert is.
Nice, man. So how did you start your business?
So, before I'm gonna go into, how did I start it, also I would, kind of touch on why did I start it, because it kind of goes hand in hand, why it actually, because it's always, very interesting for me, what makes people actually start an online business like that, because obviously something needs to happen in order to be able to, in order to do that, right? And for me, kind of this drastic change, we have to turn the clock back to 2011, right? Because I was fortunate enough to be in the US for 11 months, right? And so basically I went to the high school there. This is also why my English is, the quality that it is now, because I had daily consistent practice in the high school. And it was a day before Thanksgiving, and we kind of have been moving back and forth from my host mom, so the mom that I was living in, and my host dad, right? Because they have been living in 2 different cities, and we've been driving back and forth with the relatively small car that my host mom was having. So it was the day before Thanksgiving, and I think we were driving to him, right, or back. I'm not really remembering how what that was, but it was dark, right? And we were driving, and I was reclined back with my seat, I was laying on my side like that, and I had my phone in my hand, and I was watching a movie, right? And I still remember the name was Mahid or Majid. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English, but since that day, I never touched that movie ever again, because whenever I think about that movie, I have flashbacks and trauma, so I don't even touch that movie anymore. But basically, what happened, I was reclined, laying back on my side, right? And all of a sudden, it went incredibly fast. We were driving on a highway, the speed limit, so 60, 70 miles per hour. I'm not too sure. And all of a sudden, right, this other car who has a relatively big car, he crashed right into us just like that in a T, right? While we are driving super fast. And, I was pretty lucky that we crashed like that in a T, right? Because if we would have been a little bit slower, then we probably would have crashed right into him, and he would have not survived that. And if we would have been a little bit faster, right, then he probably would have crashed right into me, and probably I wouldn't have survived that. So I was still lucky in the event of not being lucky, right? And then it went incredibly fast, right? I got unconscious. I don't remember a lot, right? Because if something like that happens, you kind of only have those flashes or those flashbacks that you have for little moments which you still kind of can't remember. What I can remember is that, I obviously had a huge pain in my abdomen, right? Because I had the seatbelt on, and the seatbelt cut into my colon, right? So in the inside, I had internal bleedings, and I was smelling some smoke, right? And I wanted to get out of the car, but I wasn't able to because the car was completely bent. It was completely bent. I wasn't able to open the door. So I don't remember how I was able to get out of the car. But the next moment I remember was that, my host mom, and she broke her leg at that point. she was just holding me in her arms, right? And she was crying, right? And one tear after the other, you know, rolled down her bloody cheeks. And, you know, she was just saying like, Robert, you know, hold on. The ambulance is coming. Please stay with me, right? And she was just crying for my life, because obviously she didn't know what I had. I was just unconscious, right? I wasn't able to tell her that I'm fine because I wasn't fine at that point. So the next moment, you know, that I remember was that I was in the ambulance, right? And, you know, I was just, you know, laying there. I had my eyes closed, and I opened my eyes to see all those people, you know, around me, all those lights, you know, putting a mask on me. And then, you know, my eyes closed back down again. The next thing I remember was that I was at the hospital, right? And they, you know, had to take me from one hospital bed to the other and had to do like an emergency surgery on me for like 3 hours, right? Because I had like a 3-inch cut in my colon, right? Because I had like internal bleedings, bruises everywhere, right? And just, it wasn't that good, right? So they had to kind of like stitch me up from the inside. And then on the next day, you know, I woke up and I was like, whoa, man, you know, I just survived death, right? I just came close to death, right? At that moment, I realized that life can be over just like that, right? And at that moment, I was like, man, you know, I don't want to stop. I don't want to continue wasting my life doing something that I'm not happy about, doing something that I'm not, you know, really, you know, passionate about, right? And at that moment, I was kind of like, man, you know, there's got to be something else out there, because I don't want to be working for 40 years of my life for somebody else to then sometime retire when I'm 60, 65, and then start doing the things that I actually wanted to do, right? Because that didn't make any sense for me, right? Because back then I have been a guy who has been playing a lot of video games, right? And then it continued that I played a lot of video games, but I still, you know, since that, you know, drastic thing that happened to me, I kind of realized that there's got to be something else out there. And I kind of like opened my eyes, opened my ears, opened my mind to what else is out there, right? And this kind of like simply made me realize that there needs to be something else, right? So that basically, you know, made me realize that I need to find something where I can truly create the freedom that I want to have, right? And create something that I'm fulfilled with and that I'm really happy about doing. So fast forward then to 2016. It was the 29th of April, 2016. That's basically, you know, how I started my online business, right? This was the story why I started it.
That is amazing that you survived that. And
yeah.
You're only 20 years old and you just got to this realization. A lot of people that even get to even worse than that don't really get epiphany. Like they keep with their life and don't go with that transition. That's amazing that you went through that transformation, man.
Yeah, thank you. And it is funny to see because like a lot of successful people, they had to go through a super dramatic thing, like a car accident where they nearly died, right? Brendan Bouchard was the same way, right? He was in a car accident and he realized, man, you know, I need to live with purpose. I need to live consciously. And, you know, it truly is like that, that sometimes people need to go through that, right? People need to hit rock bottom, basically, or something very dramatic needs to happen until they realize that they need to change something. Because otherwise,
a car accident, but
yeah, exactly. And this is guys, you know, if you're watching this, right, I don't want you to have a car accident to realize that life can be over just like that, right? I need you to realize that your life is in your hands and you can truly, you know, make the decisions that you need to do in order to start living the life that you want to live, right? Don't let it be that it first needs to get to that kind of stage until you realize that, right? Because that is how most people are living. They are not conscious about this, and first they're going to wait until they're going to get sick before they actually do something with their health, right? And then they wonder like, what's going on, you know? And this is why, like, you need to be kind of like be proactive to that, right? So this is why don't get into a car accident to realize that, you know, just take it from me and, you know, just start living your life more consciously and start creating it, you know, however you want to, right? So that is kind of like, exactly. So this is kind of like my why story, right? And now get to the how story. And at that point, like on April 29th, 2016, that's kind of like the day where my life completely changed, right? Because prior to that, I was actually a pizza delivery guy. I've been delivering pizzas for 1 year, probably like exactly 1 year around that time. And on that day, on April 29th, 2016, two things happened. For one, I kind of like got into being self-employed for a financial advising company, right? So I kind of like didn't have any secure job anymore. I actually had to go out there, right, and make sales to make commissions. And the other thing that happened is that I bought my very, very first online course, right? And it was a very expensive one. It was like $1,497. So I was at this webinar, right? And prior that, like I had a report, like a blueprint, like a report, which kind of like got me into all of that, you know, email marketing, affiliate marketing. What is that? Why is it so powerful, right? And I was completely blown away by what is possible with that, right? So I was at this webinar, and prior that I happened on another webinar, but which kind of like didn't really get me. And you know, they've been pitching a product and was like $400, and I was like, man, no way I'm gonna be spending $400 on just information, right? So at this webinar, it was kind of like different because at that point, I was very convinced that this is truly what can set me free, right? And I watched the webinar, and then, you know, I had to leave the house because I needed to catch the train. So I was just sitting there, and I was super excited about, you know, what is the price going to be? So as they usually do it, right, they kind of like stack the price, right? It's 20,000, but no, it's not going to be 10,000. It's not going to even be 5,000, right? Just for today, for the next, you know, 50 people, it's going to be $1,497. And I was just sitting there like, no, come on, why is it got to be so expensive, man? So at that point, I realized, you know, Robert, you now have two options, right? Option number one is you're not going to do anything, right? You're just going to continue living the life that you've been living before, right? And, you know, your life is probably not going to change that much. Well, it is going to change because you just got a new job, but still, you know, this is not going to set you free the way you want it to, right? Or option number two is you're actually going to invest that money into yourself, into your future, into your business, and make the commitment and make the promise that you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And I think because I made that financial commitment of spending $1,497, giving up was absolutely not an option, right? It was absolutely not an option. And this is why I can definitely say that I got to the stage where I am now because of that financial commitment. Right? Because a lot of people getting into this, they might buy a $7 product, might buy a $20 product, right? But as easy, because there's no real commitment in that, right? So that is kind of like what made me get started with online marketing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand if they don't invest, they can't put on much effort. Because when you get it for free or very low price, it's sort of a cheap product, so you don't put yourself really out there.
And about that, I love to say that, you know, cheap and free is the new expensive, right? Because first of all, we don't value cheap stuff. We don't value free stuff, right? Because it's just not valuable to us, right? And sometimes, you know, we like $7 products might be good. Some of them might be good, right? And $97 products might be worse than the $7 products, right? But still, we kind of like value $97 products more because we actually spend a lot of money and we are about to take action on that. And the problem with $7 products is, you know, because they're like those shiny objects, right? And I've been there. And why am I saying that it's the new expensive is because those $7 products, they stack up very, very quickly, right? Because if you're going to buy product after product after product, you're going to spend, you know, a couple of thousand here, a couple of thousand there on them, you know, just as I did, right? So yeah, free and cheap is the new expensive, guys.
It's the same thing with health and family that we have and everything in life, because you know, when people think and don't really appreciate what they have in life, like health, that's for free. You got it for free. You're born good health, and you start a relationship maybe with your spouse, friends, or whatever, like free. But a lot of people don't appreciate what they have until like they lose it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, listen to this. You are already millionaires, right? If you have a healthy body, if you have eyes to see, like ears to hear, a mouth to smell, to eat, right? A nose to smell, legs to walk, hands to touch, right? And to feel, guys, you are healthy, right? And you got to appreciate that. And that's for me personally, because I'm not getting sick that often, right? Maybe like once or twice per year. And the moment that I get sick, right? And this is the worst part of usually, like when you get sick, you just understand how incredibly blessed you are when you are healthy, because then you're missing, you know, the health, you're missing to breathe properly, you're missing to taste the food that you're eating, right? And I realize that, you know, whenever I get sick, I'm so blessed that I'm usually very, very healthy. right? So you guys are millionaires if you have a healthy body. Realize that.
Sure. It's free, but we don't appreciate it. Like you said,
Exactly.
we are all millionaires, and we will
Exactly.
more and more. That depends how much you put out there. And know this
Exactly.
about your health, not just your health, your relationship, business, everything need to be connected
Yes.
in balance. If you don't have this balance,
Exactly.
your whole life getting into chaos.
Exactly. That's right.
So, Robert, how did you keep momentum and being the best version of yourself?
There are actually different things that I'm doing that a lot of people don't, or where really I kind of like set myself apart from other people, right? And, obviously I'm going to share a couple of things that I'm doing kind of like that people can apply to their own life as well. And one of the biggest things that I'm doing that most of the people don't, right, that really got me realizing that I'm a success, right? And feeling good about myself and growing my self-confidence, right? Because this is quite funny. Self-confidence is, the mother of all success, I would say, right? Because if you're confident, it reflects on so many different things. And, I'm drinking this green energy tea right now, and it usually has like a little message right here, right? Do you want to know what the message is?
What
It
is
says, self-confidence is the biggest art. Self-confidence is the biggest art. So it fits perfectly, right? So this is why start growing your self-confidence, because that is going to change a lot of different parts of your life, right? And one of the biggest things that kind of like got me into, changing my self-confidence and realizing that I'm a success is to keep a success journal. And one of the biggest things is to keep a success journal for me, right? And this is not my first success journal. It is actually my fifth. It is actually my fifth, right? And though all of those success journals, right, they have like each page of them has like 2 days worth of successes, right? And what I'm basically doing, and it looks like that, right, where I'm literally reflecting, and each day like this, and I'm doing that every single day, right? Every single day before my day ends, I'm sitting down and I'm reflecting about my day, and I'm thinking about, all right, so what are the things that have worked quite good today? What biggest thing basically, that I did was the success journals. And, as I said, they're looking like that every single day, or like every single page has like, 2 days of successes worth in it, right? And I'm writing down what are the things that have worked good today. Let me find out, where is it? All right, so what are the things that have worked quite good for me today? And, what are the successes? What are my achievements? This is how it looks basically, right? And then I'm writing down, even the smallest things, even if, I made someone smile, or maybe if I had a good breakfast, even, like the smallest things where I kind of like have a positive impact, which had a positive impact on my life, right? I'm writing them down. Why? Because we need to celebrate our small successes, right? Because oftentimes we do so much every single day and we forget about it, right? We forget about what have we done in the past 3 days, right? If you could tell me now a date between the 8th of February 2017 and now, I could flip open my success journal, right? And I could literally tell you what were my successes, what did I achieve, and I could probably tell you what the day was like, right? So it's kind of like a diary as well, but which is focusing on just the positive, good stuff. And because of that, I'm priming my brain to think positively. I'm priming my brain to look out for the achievement, for the successes in my day. And I'm being conscious about it, right? This is probably one of the most powerful things that I've started doing, and which I do until this day, and which I'm probably going to do for the rest of my life. Because then obviously, since I want to be writing a book at some day, I can just go through my successes, right? And just, see what my progress was like, see, what I did to get to where I am now, right? And this is probably like the most, powerful thing, is that you can truly just look through everything, right? And then I have, like in the back, I have written down the biggest successes that I had in the year, right? Or like in this book, right? And it's awesome to see, because every single success is kind of like a story to me, right? And this is why this is one of the most powerful things, that I can recommend everybody. You don't need to have that kind of like fancy book, right? Which I am, because it literally says Erfolgsjournal, which means like success journal, right? This is like specifically made for that. But you can literally just start taking like a piece of paper each and every day, in the end of the day, and just start writing down, 3 to 5 things that have, kind of like make you feel accomplished, make you feel kind of like feel positive, feel good about yourself, right? So that is definitely, the most important one that I do.
That's amazing what you're doing with your journalism, because it's also give you a reflection of what is your life going on, and kind of a dialogue, like a therapy session.
Exactly.
Yourself. And also, like you said, keep those successes and really celebrate them and understand them. That's amazing that you do.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
journaling.
yeah, definitely. And besides that, like, I'm a very, very big journal guy, right? I have tons of journals like laying everywhere, different things, right? And another thing that I do is a habit tracker, right? Where I literally track my habits, right? But I'm not going to go too deep into that because it would, require too much time to kind of like explain what it is, right? But it keeps me kind of like consistent with doing daily habits that have a big impact on my life and in my business, right? So this is also something that I do. And besides that, how I kind of like keep the momentum going and be the best version of myself is, by having a mentor, right? This is truly something that I've got myself, a couple months ago, somebody that can truly, tell me what to do, how to do it, why to do it, right? And then I just go in and do that, right? And that truly has probably been one of the biggest changes that I had, in my business, basically.
That's the most important thing, to have a mentor. Even the greatest people in the industry has a mentor. I'm sure Dan Graziosi have, Tony Robbins, everyone has someone that look up for. We always need someone that will keep us accountable and really give us more information, more tools that we will need along the way. And so keep up with that.
Absolutely, will do.
What is the biggest struggle that you're experiencing in your business?
That I'm experiencing in my business.
Overcome it.
And how to overcome it? I think the lack of self-belief. Like most people, which I'm talking to, right? They definitely have a lack of self-belief and very low self-esteem. They don't believing in themselves that they can actually do it, right? And that is definitely one of the biggest struggles that people have. People have a desire, people have a dream, people have goals, right? That they want to get out of their job, they want to start their own business, they want to do, something that can take them to, where they are now to where they want to be. But they lack self-esteem, self-belief, self-confidence, and this is why they never take any action, right? And that is definitely the number one thing that most people need to realize, that once they grow that self-confidence, right, everything is going to change, because then they're going to take the actions necessary to get them to where they want to be. Then they're going to invest in themselves, because most people, quite honestly, right, they're scared to invest a couple of $100 or even a couple of $1,000 into something because they don't believe in themselves being able to get that money back, right? And this is why they never take any action, never invest anything, and never get to where they want to be, right? It's like a circle like that, but that is definitely one of the biggest struggles that people have.
And that is also the biggest struggle that your clients experience?
Yes, like before they become basically my clients, this is because obviously lack of self-belief is what is stopping them to basically become my clients, right? Because they don't believe in themselves, and I can't force the belief on themselves, to them, right? I can't force it, because they have to be the ones that basically say, all right, I'm gonna be able to do that, right? I will believe in myself, I will do whatever it takes. And what most people, also that get started with me, what they kind of struggle with is, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, and the fear of rejection, right? Those are definitely, like, fear is one of the biggest things that are holding them back to actually, make it happen. Because I've seen that, many, many times, where kind of like they're fearing this judgment of others. They're fearing to fail, and this is why they don't do the necessary actions that can take them to where they want to be.
There's someone like a client that was inspirational story for you, that you really got inspired from him?
So it wasn't really this one inspirational moment where kind of like I got inspired. It was more of this process that, he went through, because the first time around where I was just talking to him, on a Zoom session, where he kind of like shared his vision, where he wants to go. He was very like insecure, very like kind of like small-minded, right? It kind of like felt like he was just like, just like hiding somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And now very recently, now going through mentorship, with me, like he really blossomed up, right? He really became like open, right? The structure that he had, and the way he talks, and he shared with me, which I was very, very happy about, is that, Robert, now when I wake up, I smile, right? Because I know my future is going to be bright. I know that I have the confidence to do it, right? And that really made me happy to make him to go from that little shy kind of like dude, from now really blossoming up and helping other people already right now, because he shared with me that he is so confident in just talking to people. He is giving people advice, and people tell him, man, you have kind of like changed so much. You are like so positive and optimistic. What has happened to you, right? And that really made me happy and inspired me, just this process of seeing people going from kind of like being small, and then that kind of like slowly blossoming up and really becoming that beautiful flower that is just flourishing all around.
That's the most fulfilling thing
Yeah.
in our field. That's amazing, man.
Absolutely.
So, Robert, if we're getting close to the end of the interview, and I want to ask you, and if you have the chance to go back in time, what advice will you give to your young self?
Well, definitely that I should stop giving a shit about what people think about me, right? This is definitely something that I would need to tell myself. Besides that, definitely learn how to say no, learn how to speak up for yourself, right? Don't try to kind of like, make it up for everybody. Don't try to, appeal to everybody, and really start believing in yourself, and don't be afraid to fail, right? This is truly, what I would tell myself if I could go back.
Yeah, sometimes we get so caught up on pleasing other people.
Yes.
And when we get that and get to that realization, that's amazing advice to our younger self.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And if you had a chance to deliver the one message that will stay written in history, what will it be?
I would say develop the habits of acting in spite of fear, right? Because on your way to success, on your way to the top, you're gonna encounter so many different struggles, challenges, problems, things that kind of like want to drag you down and put you down, and life gonna throw rocks at you, right? But you got to realize that this is part of the process in becoming successful, because not a single successful person out there has not gone through a ton of problems, ton of challenges and failures before that, right? I heard that Zig Ziglar saying once that you can't climb a smooth mountain, right? You can't climb a smooth mountain. Your road, your journey needs to be full of traps and kind of like, things where you can hold yourself onto, right? Because those failures are growing you. Because when you fail, right, you're basically putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, and you're doing something that can eventually take you to the next level, right? So the more you fail, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you eventually will get to the top and succeed. So if you go into really developing the habit of acting in spite of having the fear, right? This is what successful people do. It's not that they don't have any fear, and it's not about getting rid of that fear. It's more of acting in spite of having that fear, knowing, all right, I'm afraid about that. I'm afraid doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I know that this can take me to where I want to be, right? Me personally, I have a lot of fears as well. Sometimes even if I do a Facebook Live, I'm still scared to hit that live button, right? But I know that if I'm going to do that, right, I can reach a lot of people and I can inspire them. This is why I do it. So there would be one message that I would give to everybody, start acting in spite of fear. Develop the habit of acting in spite of fear. This would be truly life-changing for you if you do.
That will definitely be the thing that will inspire you and give you the momentum, and just go and break everything.
Exactly.
I remember my first live and my first YouTube video, I was shaking as hell the first time that I did
I was like,
so afraid to put myself out there. So I know exactly what you mean, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing advice.
Very good.
So, Robert, how can people know more about you?
So I have just recently made a webinar, or like a interview with my mentor personally, right? The one that kind of like got me under his wings and showed me exactly what to do, right? And his story is so incredible, because he really went from being a bread factory worker, right, to making $24,000 in his very first month with mentorship, right? And I have interviewed him a lot, right? And I've asked him a lot of questions with definitely going to be valuable to you as well. So if you want to watch that interview, go to myfreedom.info/Eden. It's myfreedom, everything together, .info/Eden. And then you can sign up to and see the interview. And that's how basically you can get to know more about me as well.
Amazing, man. Thank you for this interview. It was really interesting. And you are so fired up. I love that energy.
Thank
Keep
you.
it going. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you want to know more about Robert, just click the link below. And just give us a thumbs up if you find this video helpful. And be sure to subscribe. And we shall see you next time. And again, Robert, thank you. It was an amazing interview.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you guys for watching all the way till the end. Have a great day. Bye-bye.